Good evening, Vine Church. We had our trial service on Sunday, and I have to say it went really, really well. The feedback was excellent. We got some great feedback. People felt very safe. They liked to be there. They found it difficult not singing, but they felt it spiritual and significant. We're very satisfied with the spiritual experience they had coming to one of our live services. And so it was so good. In fact, we got some good tips on how we could improve, and we want to implement it this Sunday. This Sunday coming, we want to offer two services, one at 9:30 a.m. and one at 11:30 a.m. There will be 1 hour services with an opportunity to book into our Vine Cafe for 30 minutes after the service. The second service is going to be live streamed on Zoom. So our Zoom church, if you feel confident staying at home, if you'd rather just stay at home and experience church live and linked via Zoom, we respect your decision. And you will be able to join Zoom church at 11:30 this Sunday. As we said, the cafe will be open for 30 minutes after the service. And you have to book in. Bring your own food if you want food. We'll do our best to provide tea and coffee. When you book in, you can book a child zone. A child zone is a little area that's a secured area for your child or children with a little table to play safely in. We're hoping to have 2 playpens. We've ordered them, and we're hoping they'll be there for this Sunday as well. And again, you can bring your own toys, own books, and we just ask you to take them away when you go. We are aiming to provide child activity packs that each child will have their own named activity pack that they can collect on Sunday morning. There'll be a 50 maximum number at each service. And we ask you to arrive 15 minutes early, so 9:15, no earlier, but at least 15 minutes early, or 11:15 for the 11:30 service, so we can get your details for Test and Protect. We can get you safely seated and ready for the service starting at 9:30 or 11:30. Now you need to book in online, and you do that via Church Suite. Now, can I just encourage you to make sure you choose the correct service? It's very straightforward. You choose the 9:30 service or the 11:30. You can't do both, I'm afraid, unless you're serving. If you're serving, you have to book in also. So the worship team, the host team, etc. need to book in. But you need to do one form in Church Suite for every person. One for yourself, if you're coming on your own. If you're coming with a partner, your partner needs to book into Church Suite. You need a separate booking for each child, and it's very easy. You just add another ticket. So that's booking in on Church Suite. Also, there's a Vine Church service agreement. Every person over 16 of age, as well as booking in, there's 2 forms to do. Your Church Suite booking, and on the Vine Church website, there's something called the Church Services Agreement, Vine Church Service Agreement. We ask you, every person over the age of 16, to sign one of those. Now, each adult needs to sign one. So if you're a couple, the husband and the wife both need to sign it, okay? But it's not just like the usual sign-in forms where you scroll past and say, yeah, I've read that, and you really haven't. This is one that we ask you to read carefully because we're asking you to follow the guidelines in it. So we ask you to take a good 10 minutes, read it carefully, make sure you understand what you can expect from us and what we expect from you when you come to one of our Vine Church services. So please don't just scroll past, tick, yeah, that's fine, agree to it. This one's actually really important that you read it carefully, make sure you understand it, ask any questions. If you have any trouble booking in or signing any of those forms, please give Joyce Cross a phone before 2 p.m. on Thursday or Friday, and she can help you with your booking. One of the things is, you'll read it in the Vine Services Agreement, one thing's very important is that you do not enter the building if you have a new continuous cough, a loss of taste or smell, a raised temperature, or you've been around a confirmed case or been asked to self-isolate. If you're in doubt, you think, oh, it's just a cold, it's just a cough, it's just my hay fever, it's just my allergy. If in doubt, do not come. Go to the NHS Inform symptom checker, check your symptoms, or phone the 111 and speak to them and see if you need a test. But please don't take any chances. I've heard a few cases recently where people assumed their cough was just their seasonal cough They continued to go about their business and do their own thing. Lo and behold, 4 days later, found out they were tested positive. So don't take any risks. Do not come to the building if you've been around a confirmed case, been asked to self-isolate or got any of the symptoms. Remember, face masks, hand gel, keep your space, face masks, hand gel, keep your space, and face masks, hand gel, keep your space. Face masks, hand gel, keep your space. Okay, so we ask you to wear a face mask at all times during the service. That's a requirement of the Scottish Government. We ask you to observe hand hygiene, regularly sanitise, wash your hands, and also social distance, and keep your 2 meters from other people at all times. We ask you to follow the one-way system, which will be very clear once you arrive. We ask you to social distance. Once you come to the church, you'll have to go straight to your seats and sit down. And then after the service, you're going to leave straight away or go to the cafe, and you must be seated. We ask you not to stand around and talk indoors. You can talk outdoors once outside in groups of 6 from a maximum of 2 households if you're 2 meters apart. But please, no standing talking to people. Definitely no hugs, no huggers, okay? So you can smile to people from a distance, but no hugging at all. For the cafe, you must book in, and it's on the church suite form. There's a maximum of 6 people from 2 households. On the booking form, put the names of the 6 people that are going to be at your table. Once you're seated, you can take your face mask off. That's the only time you can take your face mask off when at the Vine Church, is when you're seated in the cafe. If you need to go to the bathroom, then you need to put your face mask back on, and then you can take it back off once you're seated. The cafe guidelines state that you must be seated and not going from table to table or standing and talking. I know that's very difficult and it's very tempting, because we're used to in the cafe, we go from another table to another table, we stand, we talk, but the cafe guidelines that we're going to have to try and get used to is you talk when you're seated at your table with your 6 people from the 2 households. So unfortunately, it's not a matter of going from table to table or standing. The cafe guidelines stipulate people must be seated and not standing or queuing and talking as they're going from table to table. When the time is up, we do ask you to leave the building, and again, not be standing around talking in corridors and things like that. Children need to stay with adults at all times. And when you're in the cafe, please keep your eye on your children, know where they are, and try and keep them at your table and not let them run around the cafe or run outside of the cafe. You need to keep your eye on your children at all times. This is what the Scottish Government guidelines say about children. Parents or guardians should ensure children maintain physical distancing and good hand and respiratory hygiene while they remain in any part of the place of worship's grounds or premises. You'll read that in the guidelines. We aim to provide your child with an activity pack that they can use during the 1-hour service. And we also ask you to confirm that you've been following the COVID protection level 3 guidelines. That's for meeting others indoors and outdoors. What that means is you're not allowed anybody in your home, and you shouldn't be in other people's homes unless you have a specific legitimate reason for doing so. If you have been not adhering to these guidelines, if you've been in other people's homes, if they've been in your homes, if you've been meeting outside and not socially distancing, or meeting with more than 6 people, more than 2 households at one time, we'd ask you to go to our online service and not to come to the Vine Church service, because you would be putting people at risk. So in the agreement, we ask you to confirm that you have been following those COVID protection level tier 3 guidelines, and if you haven't, please go to our online Zoom. Please stay on Zoom, because we don't want to put anybody at risk. Also, if you're likely to require first aid, if you've got a medical condition that means that you would likely require first aid, we ask you for your safety and for the safety of our staff members that you would go to our online Zoom service until such times as maybe the vaccine comes and is made available. So you've got 48 hours to book in, so book in fast. Bookings close at midnight on Friday. Contact Joyce Cross on Thursday or Friday if you've got any problems. Please pass on the link to anyone who you think will miss this communication. And if you arrive and you've not booked in beforehand, unfortunately, you won't be able to come to one of our services. Once per month, we've got a blood bank booking at the Vine Church. We made that decision before we knew if church services could start. As you know, we were definitely requiring income, and we didn't know when we were going to meet again. So the elders and the trustees agreed we would take that booking before we knew we had services. So that means once per month, we won't be able to have live services. We'll have a Zoom service at 11 or 11:30 a.m. once per month. We're allowed in level 3 to meet as a church with up to 50 people. If we go to level 4, that goes down to 20. So obviously we'll continue to monitor and evaluate, and we'll ask everyone to fill in a feedback form. We look forward to having you. The bookings are now open. You can now book in, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday, where Stuart Hannah will be bringing us a wonderful message. Thank you, and God bless.